Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here. I thought I would sit down and do a video for you guys and gals. Let's talk a little bit about my favorite topic, lifting weights. All right, lifting weights has been shown repeatedly in the research over the decades to significantly lower both cancer and diabetes rates. And this is kind of funny because this is something I tried to explain a long time ago to a group of older individuals. I was trying to explain this to them. They were the father and stepmother of one of my exes, and I had said that studies are showing, and this was over a decade ago, they're like, studies show that lifting weights reduces cancer rates. Like, we don't believe that. That's not possible. And that kind of reminded me that the general population isn't aware of this, that there's tons of research on this stuff. They're legitimately unaware of it. And it's just kind of an important point. And here's the thing that people don't grasp and why. It's not just that there's an association between both of these conditions, right? Cancer and diabetes. It's that we have found the causation. We know the biological mechanisms by which lifting weights reduces both of these risks. And it does it through the exact same pathway. Okay? That is the real kicker. And here's what it comes down to. It comes down to blood sugar control, glucose disposal, insulin sensitivity. Okay. These are a very, very big deal. Okay? These are a big deal. So this is something that's always been a hot topic. Again, insulin, the outdated obesity, insulin hypothesis, right? You have that. But we also know that vastly elevated insulin, vastly elevated glucose, all of these things are associated with cancer. They're associated with diabetes through obvious pathways. Obviously, if these things are problematic, this is really what type 2 diabetes is. We're not talking about type 1, which is its own set of issues. So we're talking about preventing diabetes. So in other words, type 1 you're born with. And this is what a very small minority of people have. But it is there, it is real, it's unfortunate, and people are born with it. And if they are, you're going to have to be medicated. But for everyone else, it is a lifestyle-induced disease. Okay? And it has to do with the way that your body metabolizes, processes insulin. Insulin resistance is the early signs of it. And if that continues, then it turns into potentially type 2 diabetes. Right? So elevated insulin, out of control insulin is a problem. The same thing with cancers. Now, it's not to say that a lot of cancer cells cannot feed on ketone bodies, but what is the primary fuel source of cancer cells? Glucose, just like the other cells in your body. Your cancer cells are still human cells. They tend to have a high insulin sensitivity, and your body will try to fight cancer cells, your immune system, other stuff. We all develop small tumors throughout our lifetime. Our body tries to fight them. It tries to get rid of them before they get out of control. But if they grow too fast, if they grow faster than your body can deal with them, they get out of control. Well, you don't want to turbocharge them by giving them excessive amounts of insulin and blood sugar. People say, oh, well, just don't eat carbohydrates. Well, that's not going to fix the problem because you can still develop insulin resistance on a low carbohydrate diet. Many people on ketogenic diets have high blood sugar. They're then more predisposed to cancer also. So it makes sense in the same regard to, hey, let's starve them. What is the best way to get insulin and blood sugar under control? Gain muscle. Because what's one tissue in the human body that loves carbohydrates? Muscle fibers. Particularly fast twitch muscle fibers, which we get from what? Lifting weights, jumping, sprinting. Okay? That sort of activity builds fast twitch muscle fibers, which the only thing they can burn for fuel, they cannot burn fat for fuel. So if you make the muscle fibers bigger that absolutely require glucose for fuel, they're very insulin sensitive. What do you think happens? Your insulin levels tend to go down. Your body disposes of glucose. So if you actually, what tends to happen if you start having excess glucose because you've eaten a bunch of carbohydrates and everything, what happens? Those muscle fibers kind of like to soak it up. They get greedy for it. So they're literally competing with tumors for their food. Okay, this is a good thing. Now, people say, so what does the data then show? The data shows that lifting weights cuts cancer. Some studies show it's only 20%. Some studies have shown 50%. But any way you break it down, that's significant. Anywhere between a 20 to a 50% reduction in cancer rates because you lift weights, that's a win. Let's set aside all the other stuff like, well, it makes you look better naked, it makes you stronger, it makes you feel better, it helps you lose fat. Yeah, let's forget about all that. Let's just talk about starving tumors. Yeah, we don't care about looking good. Let's talk about the cancer, right? Who cares if it makes you sexy? We care about getting this cancer down. Well, it does both. Furthermore, studies have shown that people who lift weights regularly, if they do get cancer, because again, we're just cutting the chances. It's not guaranteed, right? You can still get them. You're just improving your odds. What about surviving if you get it? We fall back to the same thing. The muscles compete with the cancer that you're going through treatment for food. And lifting weights makes you more robust anyways. The end result, studies have found that people who lift weights survive cancer treatment at double the rate that people who don't. This is pure win. This is pure win. In addition to it making you look better naked. There is that. How about the diabetes? Lower chance of diabetes. The studies, we had studies 20 years ago, literally showing even back then after multivariate analysis, 70% reduction, type 2 diabetes. Keep in mind, type 2 diabetes is the third biggest killer in the United States, right? Third biggest killer. It's way up there. It kills millions of people every year. 70% reduced chance of getting it, okay? Here's the kicker. People who do get it, if they lift weights, need less medication. They put less poison in their body to treat the diabetes they do get. It's more manageable, easier to control. In addition to making you look sexier and look better naked. We see a pattern here. This is a win all the way around. We have a physical activity that cuts cancer anywhere between 20 or 50%, depending upon which study, doubles your chances of surviving if you get it, cuts diabetes by 70%, and it makes you look better naked. I'm not seeing a negative here, people. All right, guys, well, that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys and gals next time.